Eala arrives in UAE ahead of Abu Dhabi Open. Eala arrived in the United Arab Emirates on Saturday ahead of the Abu Dhabi Open. Eala is a wild card entry in the main draw of the Abu Dhabi Open, a WTA 500 event. In an Instagram story shared on Saturday, Eala posted a mirror selfie featuring a note that read, "Proudly welcoming our Filipino tennis star, from all the Filipino staff." Eala is coming off a homecoming week in Manila, where she competed in the Philippine Women's Open. Eala arrives in UAE, a rising star's next act at the Abu Dhabi Open. When Eala stepped off the plane in the glistening heat of the United Arab Emirates this past weekend, she wasn't just arriving for another tournament. She was stepping into a new chapter of a burgeoning career, one filled with grit, dreams, global attention, and the weight of an entire nation's hopes on her shoulders. At 20 years old, Eala has already written headlines and inspired countless young athletes in her home country, the Philippines. Yet as she set foot in Abu Dhabi ahead of the prestigious Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open, a WTA 500 event that attracts some of the world's best players, there was a palpable sense that her journey, both personal and professional, is still only just beginning. From Manila farewell to Middle East focus, Eala's arrival in the UAE came on the heels of an emotional chapter back home. Just days earlier, she competed in the inaugural Philippine Women's Open, an event historic in its own right as the first WTA 125 tournament held on Philippine soil. In front of roaring home crowds at the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center in Manila, she battled fiercely before falling in the quarterfinals to Colombia's Camila Osorio. Despite the defeat, Eala's resolve was undiminished. With characteristic grace, she turned the page immediately, embracing both disappointment and opportunity as the dual engines of her growth. "We take it in our stride and move on," she said after her Manila departure, a philosophy she carried straight to the UAE. A global stage, a local hero. The Abu Dhabi Open, held from January 31st to February 7th at the International Tennis Center in Zayed Sports City, is among the most competitive stops on the WTA Tour. It attracts top-ranked talent and offers valuable ranking points and experience that can define careers. For Eala, her entry into the main draw, earned via a wild card, is not just an opportunity. It's validation of her standing among the sport's rising elite. Wild card entries are typically reserved for players whose potential and past results signal they belong on a grander stage. For Eala, this recognition comes on the heels of a breakthrough season that saw her reach a career-high ranking inside the WTA Top 50, becoming the highest-ranked Filipino in history. Among the names on the Abu Dhabi roster are former Grand Slam finalists and season champions, the kinds of competitors that can make or break a year on tour. Yet Eala is no stranger to big moments. Her 2025 season included stunning runs at major events, memorable victories over former Grand Slam champions, and a legacy-making arrival in the global spotlight. The weight of a nation's hope. Eala's journey isn't just measured in rankings or match wins. In the Philippines, where basketball and boxing typically dominate sports consciousness, her rise has expanded the nation's athletic imagination. She represents not just elite tennis performance but the possibility that Filipino athletes can compete and thrive on the world's biggest stages. Back in Manila, her quarterfinal performance might have ended in defeat, but the impact echoed far beyond the scoreboard. By bringing the WTA Tour to the Philippines and competing fiercely in front of her countrymen, Eala helped deepen the sport's roots at home, inspiring local players, fans, and the next generation who now see tennis as a genuine avenue for national pride and international success. That influence followed her to the UAE, where Filipino fans and expatriates alike welcomed her arrival with pride. In an Instagram post celebrating her welcome in the Emirates, Eala shared a photo of a heartfelt message from Filipino staff greeting her, a reminder that even thousands of miles from home, her people travel with her spirit. The road to Abu Dhabi and beyond. Eala's schedule leading up to Abu Dhabi has been intense. After her successful stint in Auckland, New Zealand, and her debut in the Australian Open, she returned to Manila with renewed momentum, all before jetting off again to the Middle East. This relentless pace isn't unusual for top tennis professionals, who often travel from continent to continent week after week in pursuit of points, form, and experience. But for a young player like Eala, it also signals a valuable learning curve, one where each match, each flight, and each new opponent offers lessons that will shape her career arc. There's also the emotional challenge of adapting rapidly from the familiarity of home to the unfamiliar courts of Abu Dhabi. The physical demands are mirrored by mental ones, staying focused after a loss, managing expectations, and maintaining belief against seasoned rivals. Yet these are the very experiences that have forged champions. And for Eala, they are part of an ongoing evolution from rising star to established elite. What's at stake in Abu Dhabi? In Abu Dhabi, Eala's goals are layered. On one level, there are ranking points, crucial to climbing further up the WTA ladder. On another, there's the deeper aim of gaining experience against top-ranked players in high-pressure scenarios. And beyond that, there's the intangible but powerful quest to carry her nation's pride onto a global court. Her presence itself signifies that Philippine tennis has arrived on the world stage, not as a visitor, but as a contender. Whether she goes deep into the draw or exits early, her performance will be watched, analyzed, and celebrated by fans at home and around the tennis world alike. And even if her schedule after Abu Dhabi hasn't been fully mapped, with speculation about potential events in the Middle East such as regional WTA 1000 tournaments, one thing is clear: she's not stopping. Her ambitions stretch far beyond a single week in the UAE. A legacy in the making. To understand Eala's significance, one must look beyond the scorelines. She's part of a generation of athletes redefining what's possible for tennis in countries without deep traditions in the sport. She has climbed from junior success, including a historic US Open girls title, to competing with the world's best on tour. Her path has been marked by resilience, learning from losses, pushing through physical and emotional fatigue, and continually seeking improvement. Through it all, she remains grounded, articulate about her goals, and proud of her roots, a combination that endears her to fans and peers alike. Whether or not Abu Dhabi becomes the site of her next breakthrough moment, her arrival there symbolizes something larger: the continuing ascent of a once-hidden talent into the global tennis conversation. She represents not just individual ambition, but the hopes of an emerging sporting nation, one that now watches her not as a novelty, but as a genuine force to be reckoned with.